Previously, when you read all this or hear all this, you look at the words. You look at the words, then you try to get the meaning from the words. That's why it's not an awakening. That one is not a penetrative understanding. That one is still contemplation, reflection, trying to use the understanding that you have at that time to develop the understanding of it. So that is not awakening. The real awakening is like when you listen, the moment you listen, you awaken. That thing becomes so beautiful. Means your nature is ready to receive that type of truth. That's why sometimes people use the word the aha moment. That's why for Xu Yin Lao和when the attendant accidentally pour the hot boiling water onto and spill over to his hand, then during that instant, because during that instant, it was a nature's reaction, the hand just moved and the cup actually dropped from the holding of the hand and cracked. At that moment when it cracked, he awakened. His mind like improvised, ceased. Then when he come out, he understand everything. It's because at that moment when the thing, actually the boiling water came into contact with his physical hand, what happened was he stopped thinking. The thought all freeze, stopped, and he was ready. So when that thing stopped, it needs something to crack and trigger off. So in that case, was the cracking sound of the cup enough trigger? Then that nature awakened. That's why sometimes not necessary Dhamma to awaken. No. I remember in the first instant when I awakened to the three universal characteristics, I was actually standing at the side listening to one of my guide teaching somebody, the Singaporean, about phenomena and all those things. Then he said, see, she just moved her hand 2 times. I straight away, without thought, because I was mindful, aware, silent, I awakened to the 3 universal characteristics straight away. And there was no Dhamma, nothing. He said, see, just see. Then she moved her hand. I remember 2 movements. Then she just said, what do you see? That person cannot understand what she said. But I was standing at the side because I was aware, mindful, my nature saw. And this is what phenomena is all about. This is what Paticca Samuppada is all about. This is what dependent origination is all about. Condition arising, causal phenomena. Arise already, exist. Then it move again, exists. That's why they come and go. Then if this is like that, it can apply to all things. All of the phenomenal world is the same. All of nature's characteristic is the same. That's why the phenomenal world of form, the phenomenal world of consciousness, everything become very clear. So a lot of things in cultivation, even Ajahn Chah also same. he also went into the stillness and silence, and the mind went in after he heard some drum vibration or what the celebration in the village somewhere. Yeah, he was doing his walking meditation and all that. Then he was completely silent. Then all of a sudden that thing triggered off. Then he went in. And then the mind went into cessation. Then when he came out, he just understand the Dhamma. Yeah. So the way people become enlightened or awakened can be in very varied form. Even during the times of the Buddha, you have many examples about monks, nuns, and all those things. There was one nun, I remember, he was washing her feet, as she poured the water, because she was so mindful and aware, before the water reached the end, she became an arahant. How come that is possible? Then there was one monk who can't even remember one stanza. The Buddha gave him a white cloth and asked him to clean it up. Then he realized the more he wanted to clean it up, the more dirty it become. Then he suddenly also awakened and become an arahant, because he realized originally that cloth that the Buddha gave to him was already pure. Pure means that true nature. But when he used his own, like mundane mind, to try to clean it, the more he do, the more dirty that cloth become. Then he realized the defilement comes from the memory, come from the brain, the accumulation of knowledge and all those things. Then he realized the truth and awakened that he no need to do anything, silent, to realize that nature. Then the mind returned to its original state. That's why a lot of very profound awakening, they happen not through listening to the Dhamma. They happen because of their unique way of cultivation. Uh, then like Sariputta, he heard the Dhamma and he became a Sotapan. When Asaji recite those things. So most of the monk during that time is through hearing the sutta, especially the fire sermon. Everything is burning. The eye is burning, consciousness. So when you have the Dhamma, this one can awaken very fast. But there are some who has to go through different means and all these things. So you will experience all these things. You will go through and come to know what your nature is, what are your unique character and feature and past training. Then you will see how it unfolds. Then you will also gain understanding. And you will understand why all these other people can also awaken. This is the beauty of the Dhamma.